Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the greatness of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas and the surrounding areas. People, places, experiences. Hot Springs Village is one of the most beautiful places on earth. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and my co-host Dennis Simpson as we engage in weekly conversations to explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. Today's show is brought to you by Central Arkansas's favorite radio station, KVRE. Find them on the dial at 92.9 FM. Stream them live at kvre.com. Today's show is brought to you by RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village. The award-winning RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village is the largest real estate office inside the village with over 30 full-time agents and support staff. Visit them to learn more about this beautiful place to solve your real estate needs. Call them at 1-800-364-9007. Find them online at explorehsv.com. They are RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village at 1-800-364-9007 or online at explorehsv.com. HSV Inside Out is also brought to you by Ike Eisenhower State Farm. Ike and his award-winning team have been serving the insurance needs of folks all around Hot Springs Village since 1998. Ike has qualified for State Farm's President's Club, Chairman Circle, and Hot Springs Village Insurance Agent of the Year. Call Ike Eisenhower State Farm today at 501-984-4100. That's 501-984-4100. Find them online at ikeeisenhower.net. Call them today for all your insurance needs because, like a good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower State Farm is there.
Today, Randy and I join you from the shores of beautiful Lake DeSoto and number 15 Torre Del Mar in beautiful Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. From this video fly-in, you can see it's located on the point. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and you too can rent this property at ddvillageprop.com. Again, that's ddvillageprop.com. We thank you for joining and hope you enjoy the show today. Dennis Simpson, Randy Cantrell, the deck of number 15 Torre Del Mar, looking back down on the boat dock, and this is the weather we live for, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great right now. I don't know what the temperature is, but it's awesome.
It's high 70s, low 80s.
It's awesome.
This is the Mediterranean weather that we get for a few weeks a year, in the spring and in the summer.
You would know, having been a frequent visitor to the Mediterranean.
Well, I've learned that even in the Mediterranean, it gets hot.
Yeah.
It gets downright hot.
No, this is great. I could handle this for months and months.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Well, anyway, I say all that because I wanted to talk about, I don't know, I guess you could even maybe call this a victory lap. We're approaching 350 shows. We've done this 3 years plus. We are, I'm going to use these quotations, profitable. Is that a fair way to phrase it?
Yeah.
We're able to monetize this.
Depending on how you mean it.
You
mean it by money. Okay.
Yeah, by money. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, kind of, sort of. Yeah.
But what I do want to say is that
we're able to pay the bills and keep it going.
We're able to pay the bills, keep it going, paying us some, buy equipment. But without you, I think you said it one time, my friend, I'd just be a guy alone in a room talking to himself.
Yeah. Well, I'm largely that. That's what I largely am anyway. Yeah.
Well, you talk to there's somebody on the other end of the Zoom some days, right?
Yeah, well, not always. Not when you're podcasting. It's just me and a microphone.
Leaning toward wisdom we're talking about, and others. Well, like the radio show I do and all that. So all that to say, we owe you, listeners, watchers, and subscribers, we owe you desperately and dearly. We cannot tell you thank you enough. For me, I've really
we're
had...
not going to pay him anything, are we?
No, we're not going to pay you. We're not going to pay you. We will take donations, though. But where I'm going with that is that over the last 3 years, I mentioned this in one of the earlier podcasts, I thought I knew a lot about that village. I really did. And you said I've got this insatiable questions and all these questions, and they're always great questions. And I thought I answered them well, but then you just kept coming up with them. And the bottom line is that
we haven't even touched the surface of
it.
We
haven't. But I realized that I began getting more questions the more people I interviewed.
Sure.
Tom Alt, who designed all 9 of these golf courses and is still living, and we had the opportunity to talk with him. And there's standouts from each and every one of these. But before I go one second further, Clara Nicolosi at Remax, Ike Eisenhower at Ike Eisenhower State Farm. Do we say thank you, Randy, or do we just...
No, we absolutely do.
We can't express it enough.
They make it possible. People who don't do shows like this don't, and nor should you be able to understand, A, the work that's involved and the cost that's involved. And the majority of podcasters don't have, they don't have help to do it. Thanks to these 2 businesses, we do have help to do it. It enables us to bring the show to you, and there's no paywall, so it's not like you have to pay, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a capitalist to the core, but we're not in the business of charging the audience. That's not a business model that Dennis and I even entertained or would entertain. It's all about just trying to draw a bright light to the village, shine a light on it so other people can kind of see what we see, know what we know, experience what we experience, and if it's their cup of tea, great. If it's not, that's okay too.
Or if you just get a chuckle and see a couple of old guys sitting out on the deck and talking.
Yeah, well, we're good for that.
Yeah, hello, that's our go-to. That's our golden. Yeah,
that's our superpower.
But again, and to put this in perspective, well, you told me one time, what's the percentage of people that they make a podcast that they never make more than 10 episodes or some kind of number?
The vast majority. The vast majority probably die before they get to episode 7.
7.
Well, it seems like a good idea, and it seems like, hey, I can talk, you can talk. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we buy a couple of microphones and we move on.
How hard can this be?
Yeah, and it's way more complicated than that. And if you want to have an audience, which we're thankful for, you got to do more than that, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of time, and for most podcasters, for zero money. But you and I have talked about it before. I mean, if we got these are equivalent to really crummy part-time jobs for us, so, but it's not why we're doing it. We're thankful for the sponsors, because it does enable us to do it and not just every month be out of pocket to produce a show that we really want to produce.
Yeah. Well, it makes the hours, and I wanted to talk about this. I was actually thinking about this morning. As you get to a stage in your life, I hear the clock tick. Every day, every hour, everything. Well, so for example, the roof on this unit, to paint our house, to whatever, that's going to last this many years. If I take that roof and amortize it by this many years, then it's going to cost this much per month, blah, blah, blah. Everything ticks. Yeah. Everything. And so for Randy and I, not independently wealthy for sure by any measure, but we hear that ticking also. And if there's not a way that we can compensate for that ticking, if we're spending all these times making these shows, probably over 350 now, and we're not making anything for it, versus our jobs, our day jobs, or that other day job, then it's
well, and thankfully we've got those. We've got the day job, and so we can afford to invest some money in this. And again, I mean, yes, the audience is number one, and you're going to remain number one. We're going to keep trying to get better. He and I joke, and it's not. It really is the truth. We're the constraint. We're the limitation. And I'm not saying that just to be self-deprecating, because we're not the Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan he's the number one podcaster on the planet. And we're not that. We're not trying to be that. We're just a couple of guys that love this place and are pretty passionate about this place and are happy to talk about it and happy to talk to other people about it. So, yeah, the audience, you're number one. The shows have got to be valuable, or you're not going to click play. And if you click play, you're not going to keep watching. So we got to get better at that. We know that. And secondly, we got to be thankful for Ike and Clara, for Ike Eisenhower State Farm and Clara at Remax of Hot Springs Village, because, yes, they pay the bills. They help us financially pull this off so that we can keep this thing going. And it's why we don't have 7 episodes. It's why
Yeah.
we've got 350 or pushing close.
You know, and you say 350, or somebody says, well,
That's a big number.
It is a big number. How long have you been doing professional consulting with people? 20 years?
15, call it 15, you know. I mean, I left the C-suite when I was 53 and I'm 67. So I've been doing coaching. I started out doing consulting, but I've been doing coaching / consulting since I was 53 and I'm 67, so that long.
So we have 14.
Prior to that was just running businesses.
Well, where I'm going with that is that when you started that, you never thought, okay, 14 years from now, I'll have 500 people down the road or whatever number of people down the road. We're at a stage in life. It seems like at this stage in life, things move a little quicker, right? It seems like the number of pieces and the number of people and all that moves quicker, and that's okay, not plus or minus. But 350 shows ago?
Well, time matters more to you as you get older, and everybody that's watching this knows that. I mean, time doesn't matter to you that much when you're in your 30s and 40s. You know, you're impatient. You want what you want it now, and you get that. But I don't know, at some point when you realize you got more history than you do future, just from a statistical point of view, although as we're hitting the record button, I'm days away from a father who's going to turn 101. So
yeah, I was going to say.
I'm like, you know,
you talked about working for a long time. I'm like, you know, if you're like your dad.
Number one, I don't want to live to be 101. I'm glad he is.
And healthy.
He's healthy, yeah. But no, you just realize that time matters more than money. You can make more money, you can't make more time. And so there's that. But, see, my head goes somewhere else because I live by that. There's a thing called the parable of the starfish. And it was a takeoff from a paper that was written by, you know, this anthropologist kind of a guy. Anyway, the long and short of it is, boy's out on the beach. He's throwing starfish that have all washed ashore. The sun's coming out. It's hot. And there's thousands of starfish on the shore. And he's throwing them back in the ocean one at a time. And an old man says, "Kid, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm saving these starfish, sir." He says, "Look, you can't make any difference. There's thousands of these starfish." He picks one up, he throws it in the ocean. He says, "Well, it made a difference to that one."
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that still is the drive for this podcast. It's pretty much the drive for any of the work that I do. So Dennis and I aren't chasing numbers. We're glad there's more of you that are watching, and we're always wanting more people to, but I don't know. For me, it's about you. Whoever you are, it's about you getting value and getting some information, getting some entertainment, getting your questions answered, you know, and if we can do that, then, you know, then we've won. And it's about, okay, can Remax of Hot Springs Village, can we help them sell one house? Can we get one homeowner that is thrilled to have found the village because we helped? Can I get one customer, one client that he might not would have gotten because they found the village and they came to the village, and that's good enough for me.
Well, there's two pieces to that. Number one, we have hitched our wagon to the gold star people. And that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, well, we refer them to, they're the king and queen of the village.
Well, yeah, exactly. We have had zero complaints about Ike Eisenhower as a sponsor for us. Nobody has ever called and said, "Oh, you know, you're sponsored by that Ike and he's a rotten SOB." No. Same thing with Clara. We have never heard one complaint come back to us and say, "How could you dare, support these people or use them as a sponsor?" No, we are tied to the gold star entities in this market, and we're thrilled. We are thrilled. That said, because we're tied to the gold star entity, we couldn't be more grateful. We could not. We are not begging and pleading for a low bottom feeder to sponsor us. We have the gold star people sponsoring us, and we want to, and we were talking about this before we even hit the record button. If we don't move your needle, we're not going to sell you a product.
No, well, and we're not out here pitching either. We've got these two sponsors, and hey, we're perfectly happy, and it's great. It's congruent. They're so community minded, and they're so, these have got to be the top two people, don't you think, that sponsor nearly any major charitable action that takes place here. One or both of them is probably tied to it in a real direct way.
Absolutely.
So that's important to us because we're community-minded folks, and they're both high on the village. You know, they both made big investments here. I mean, Ike's been here for a long, long time, raised his family here, and so, yeah. No, listen, I'm happy to have them, happy to have you.
What has the last 350 episodes taught you? And I know that's nearly impossible to summarize, but we were talking a minute ago about Tom Alt, who I said, designed all these courses. One of the things he told us is over at the Cortez Golf, and I want to put a cookie on every shelf. Some people know where this is, some people don't. But he said that the number 8 at Cortez, this huge pond that's 160 yards across, and it psychs you out. Most golfers can hit a ball 175 yards in it just like that. But it psychs you out because you're going all the way across the water. But there's 2 huge fountains in the middle of this to aerate the water. He had told us how they were going to put a boxcar, a lowboy boxcar, fill it with dirt, make it float, and they were going to move it around so that the green would actually move when they went different places. John Paul told us about when they were building DeMonte and building Granada and how these were blue chip places. Christy tells us about how, Christy Bennett, the present police chief, tells us about how as a child, her parents would take her to work with them, and she would peel the old wallpaper off while their parents would put the new wallpaper on. I mean, I'm stalling for you to think of what it has come to your mind in 350 episodes.
Oh, there's a bunch of them. I mean, I'm still a huge Barton fan.
A Barton?
I mean, the guy's just a rock star. He won't come back on. We're gonna
Whoa. We're gonna chase him down with one of these newfangled cameras and go to his house. He doesn't live too far from you.
Just a good old boy. My kind of guy. But listen, everybody's been great. I mean, we haven't had a bad guest yet.
No.
We haven't had a guest that you wouldn't want to just sit on a back deck like this and just talk to. If we have, I can't think of one.
Well, let me recash real quick. Barton, you call Barton. Bart Langford is what he goes by, but he is a registered forester. His father moved Johnny Cash to Kingston, Arkansas. Yeah. He sat in the truck at the college. He's just an incredible storyteller. Sits in the truck and getting ready to go in and go to college. And before he goes into college, he has to debate whether or not he might just grab that chainsaw in the back and go back to work.
Yeah.
Or he might go to college. He doesn't know. Right. It's kind of a toss-up, right?
It's touch and go.
One of the most incredible storytellers we've ever had.
Yeah. He's great. He needs to be a regular, I think.
He really does. We need to drag him out of the weeds.
We need to have a Bart episode every now and again.
Well, and as a forester, he taught me things about I've been in woods since I was a baby, but I never even had a clue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, me neither. I love trees, but I mean, the big thing that stood out for me with him, take a look at the crown. The crown will tell you how healthy it is, which makes complete sense. Yeah. But I'm not a forester. I don't know.
Well, then he tells us the silly things like, the leaves, that's how it makes the food.
Yeah.
Okay, right. If it doesn't have any leaves on it, and he says this, and I want to go, well, duh, but until you think of it, you're like, well, duh,
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've had some great guests and.
Oh, Ernie Deon telling the story. Ernie Deon was the engineer for for Cooper, 28 years, something like that. For those of you that are familiar with the village, he drives down DeSoto. You're going to tell the story about the.
Well, Balboa's the story for me.
I'll let you tell that. Let me tell this one first. He pulls up to the bottom of Minorca and DeSoto. Now that's kind of a roller coaster hill, we call it here, because that's where the road ended in 1992. It didn't even go out that way. He gets out there and he starts hiking through the woods, and he's parked his truck, and he's been working for a few months with Cooper, and he's a recent graduate. Now remember, no GPS, no whatever. He's hiking through the woods, and he's going to see this new Lake Balboa thing they're making. And he says as he's walking through the woods, he's at least 2 hours into the weeds, okay? And he looks down and he sees the largest timber rattler he's ever seen in his life. Now, Ernie's been in the woods a lot.
Yeah.
There's nothing new to him. But he said he stopped right there and did the math. He said, okay, I'm a 2-hour walk back to the car. I'm a 45-minute ride back to the hospital. And that's the largest timber rattler I've ever seen in my life. He said he gently stepped the other way, finished his job, and then went back to the truck and directly to Walmart and bought leather chaps so he could wear for the next day. Now, you tell the next one. I love this one.
Yeah, the Lake Balboa thing, he's talking about the Cooper salespeople, just giving people tours and stuff, and they've got these big earth movers. I mean, it's just hard to imagine Balboa not being there.
Well, I mean, look at the dam in your mind. Okay,
Yeah.
I was on Sunset Grill this last week. The dam is like 95 feet tall in some places, 110 feet, and goes what, half mile?
Yeah.
And they're scooping up dirt and putting that dirt on the dam to try and make that dam. At the same time,
yeah. Well, they've got cars of sales guys bringing people through, and he's got these earth movers and big equipment everywhere. And I'm just in my head as he's telling that story. I'm just trying to imagine, how crazy it would look.
The managed chaos.
Well, and I'm thinking about those sales guys. And imagine selling, this is going to be a lake.
There's going to be a lake here.
This is going to be the biggest lake in the whole village.
Yeah, and you need a lot right here. No. When the water comes up, see, there's going to be water.
Yeah.
When the water comes up, you'll get a lot right here.
Trust us, it's going to be over 900 acres of water.
940,
right here,
yeah.
It's like, it's just hard to imagine, which gave us, when we were recording those shows, I remember us really being fascinated with the foresight that Cooper Development had to create a community like this. I mean, it's easy to be critical of, well, why didn't they do this? The fact that they were able to even pull this off, and here it is 50 some odd years later, and thriving, is remarkable.
It's remarkable, and one more thing, Cooper ceased active operations in 2006.
Yep.
That's the little phrase they hang their hat on, is we ceased active operations. They didn't build more subdivisions, they didn't build more houses, they still had the concrete plant, blah, 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 blah. They're still the developer, blah, 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 blah. And Ernie had left, Ernie's been there gone 2 or 3 years, but he told me a phrase that Neff...
Yeah, because he was there until 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. But Neff, who's the senior VP at Cooper, Neff Bassamore, and they all say the same thing. Now, to push a corporate culture into an entity is either nearly impossible or it's innate. You know what I mean by that? If you're consulting with a business or consulting with a governmental agency and you say, we're going to preach professionalism, we're going to work on this, and they're like, no, we're just seeing how we can get by. It's either going to snap or it's going to be nearly impossible. Neff and the engineer, Ernie, both said to me separately, months apart, promises were made, promises were kept. And I could tell that was part of their corporate culture. Cooper was serious. Did they make things wrong? Of course they did. Everybody makes a mistake. But promises were made and promises were kept. They told you they were building a lake. By golly, they built a lake.
Yeah.
They told you this is going to be a lakefront lot. It's a lakefront lot. Yeah. And they did what they had to do.
This golf course is going in here, and there she is.
And by golly, here it is.
Yeah.
Now, I was impressed because each one of them could not have known that the other one...
But you're talking 26,000 acres of forest.
41 square miles.
Turned into this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. No, I mean, the fact that he had the foresight and the vision to see it and to pull it off, I don't know.
No, it's not just that.
It's pretty amazing.
We live in a fly-by-night world. We live in a world that if that works now, we'll move. This is a 50-year commitment. At any time, he could have gone, I'm done. We're going to sell out. Y'all go do what you want to do. I'm tired of this. I've had one last Karen. I've heard the last Karen I wanted to hear about how we didn't make the lots big enough, or we did it.
Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, sorry, Karen. We know. We love you. We love you. But my point
being, we're not talking about you.
Well, no, the other Karens. The other Karens, not you.
Yeah.
But you know where I mean by that? It's not just that it's 50 years.
That's right.
It's the diligence and the dedication to continue to do that.
Yeah.
And you can tell they have a culture of excellence. They want that. Like I said, months apart. Some of them not even employees anymore. Promises were made. Yeah. Promises were kept in it. That's the whole scenario.
Yeah.
But
again, without the audience and without Clara's help and Remax of Hot Springs Village and Ike at Ike Eisenhower State Farm, we couldn't have told those stories.
We couldn't have told those stories.
We could, and the shame of it is, and Ernie Deon, any of these other people.
Oh, Jason Temple. I know where you're going with this.
Well, an awful lot of these people are growing older. One of our pushes to get Ernie on was,
not going to be around forever.
Well, we don't have any promises tomorrow, no matter what our age is. But some of this history we just needed to get it captured.
Well, that was Tom Alt with telling us about the golf courses.
Yeah.
We were not going to get that again. Who was the lady that was the associate general manager for years and years and years?
Linda Mayhood.
Linda had the most incredible stories. Oh my God, about how it was your bucket day to clean out the bucket.
Yeah.
They did not even have plumbing under the sink. They had a bucket under the sink. So when you washed your dishes out, it filled up the bucket.
Yeah.
And it's your day to fill out the bucket, and it's my day to fill out the bucket.
Right.
And,
So all those great verbal stories of being able to pass some of that stuff on, I'm glad that we've been able to be an itty bitty part of that, and it'd be nice to keep doing that every now and again.
Well, and like I say, every hour has a little click to it.
Yeah.
And the fine folks at Remax, the fine folks at Ike Eisenhower, cannot tell you thank you enough. And we've said this and we'll say it again. You listen, you watch, you give us feedback.
Yeah, and I'm spreadsheeting that, by the way.
Yeah, you should do that.
I'm spreadsheeting all the feedback that we're getting of the show suggestions. If you've got them, please go to the website, hsvinsideout.com.
Or email us at hello@hsvinsideout.
Yep,
right?
You can use the contact form, the email, it all goes to the same place. But yeah, we're all in on your suggestions, and my goal, your goal, is for us to produce shows that you're compelled to watch and you're compelled to share with other people, because I don't know, it's just too glorious to keep to ourselves.
It really is. I have a great way to end this show.
Good.
It's wonderful. You
Because
want
we
to know?
need to.
You know, it's going to be exactly what you want.
Okay.
You and I are going to shut up, and
Yeah.
I'm going to turn the camera that direction,
Yeah, please do.
and we're
Get it
going to
off
give
of
you
me.
2 to 3 minutes of just what it's really like here at the lake. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, no, I want to
Well,
leave
that
our
means I got to mute my mic.
Well, you got to mute your mic because you don't need to
Well,
talk.
you need
but
to mute your mic.
what I'm saying, yeah,
I need to leave mine live.
There we go. How about there? There we go. No, what I was getting at is let's just tip it that way, and I've got to tighten that back up and let that spin. And I believe for the next 2 to 3 minutes, it's possible, remotely possible, that we could be quiet. Okay, well, shut that.
I knew you would. Thanks for watching and listening to Hot Springs Village Inside Out, a weekly podcast starring Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Visit the website at hotspringsvillageinsideout.com.